Hi, Scorpio. Hey, how come you didn't do our reading like with Halloween stuff? How come the Halloween videos weren't in Scorpio season? Short answer. You're scary enough. But, oh me, oh my. Time to start winning again. Are you ready? I would like to call this reading the third wave. And I'll tell you why. We have a conjunction coming up between Jupiter and Pluto. It's the third time it's happening this year. And you have been slowly and steadily planning and also coming to grips with a lot of different things that you know that you need to improve. Nobody's told you need to improve them. It's been slow and steady. You've just been noticing things and thinking, oh, yeah, I could probably talk more about my emotions. Yeah, kind of feel like forgiving that person. Yeah, I know I can be more stubborn than I should. Boy, I really just want to move away from how I used to be and become the new me. And your season says, go right ahead. We love to see it. So why call it the third wave? Because it's the third conjunction. And for you, it just brings in more and more good luck. From now until the end of the year, you're winning. You're winning so ridiculously much. I mean, in every way possible. And it's all because you've been doing this slow, steady reevaluation of yourself. Mercury retrograde has brought you a lot of insight into your own way of being and thinking. Perhaps some people have come out and told you some truths about yourself that you weren't too ready to hear. That's okay. But you've been ruminating. And what you've discovered is that you have some work to do. And as of November 13th, when Mercury goes direct in your sign, you are off to the races. The hard work combined with the contemplation, combined with the bravery and the risk-taking, which you're loving so much right now, and what you come up with is a glittery, brand new, gorgeous, much more friendly, much more engaging, much more in touch with their feelings Scorpio. And you know what happens when you're like that? People fall at your feet when you're mean and rude. What do you think is going to happen when you're nice? It's going to be lines. They're going to start fan clubs. I'm not even kidding. I wish I was, but I'm not. No, I don't wish I was. I just like being that way with you guys because you're already like so hyped. 7 of Swords, 3 of Swords, Justice, and the 10 of Cups. Oh, I love seeing this. You are so okay with how things have been. You have been so satisfied by how karma has been able in Libra season to right so many wrongs that you were like, yeah, that person, I'm not going to take any revenge. No, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to think about myself. I'm going to work on myself. But that person really deserves to get what they, what they have coming to them. And I don't think Libra season disappointed. I think you've looked around and thought, these scales are being balanced very nicely. Let's continue. 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands. You are ready for a new long-term relationship. After November 11th, 12th, just get mentally prepared. Like, okay, if you're single, get mentally prepared. Okay, there's someone new coming in. If you are in a relationship already, get mentally prepared for either renewing your vows, taking your vows, somehow having a baby, somehow taking this to the next level. If you are in a relationship that you don't want to be in, oh boy, be yourself, dog. Mars gives you all the energy you need. November 13th, you are glittering. You are center stage. All eyes are on you and you love it. It's not in an anxious way. It's not in a way that makes you feel bad. It's not in a way that makes you feel queasy. You're loving this energy. All the planets in Capricorn go direct as well. This is also talking about that conjunction. Anything that was held up, anything that made you feel, especially love, anything that made you feel perhaps 6 months ago, like, is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to be in a normal, solid relationship again? When is it going to happen? Why is it taking so long? Here it is. November is so golden, but don't just get stuck on November. November, December, January, you're glowing, you're friendly, you're speaking from your heart. People don't understand why you're being this way. They're like kind of scared actually. Like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want it to stop. Just keep going with it. Everybody loves this new, more open, more vulnerable you. And the reason they love it so much is because they've been waiting so long to have something to sink their teeth into. You're giving people the intimacy they've been craving. You're forgiving people. You're opening up. You're doing all these things that bring all this love into your life. And then you're going to sit and bask in this love and think, I did it. No, I really did it. Yeah, you really did it. And we're all so proud of you. Not to condescend, I'm not trying to do that. It's just that we see you from the outside and we know you have these feelings and we know you have all this love and we know you have all this pain with not being able to get them out and not being able to express them properly. And even when you do try to express them, sometimes it comes out as anger instead, and then people misunderstand you more, and it's so difficult. But for the next 2 months, it's not difficult. It's like you and Mercury got in a room together and just like talked about everything from your past. You talked about everything that's ever happened to you, and Mercury gave you all the keys to all the doors that were closed. And now that all the doors have been opened and you've looked inside and there's no dark corners left and there's nothing left to clean out or put away, you know exactly where everything is up here. Yeah, of course it's easy to talk. Of course it's easy to say to someone, hey, you know what? You really hurt me, but I still love you. What do you want to do about this? Or, you know what? You really hurt me and I'm done with you. Get out of here. Or, hey, Mom, we need to talk this out. Or, hey, Dad, are we ever going to talk? And they're going to say to you, you want to talk? Yeah, you got a lot to say and you have a lot of love to give. And it makes me emotional. It makes me emotional. I was just watching, I'm a big, this is perfect for Scorpios. I'm big into unsolved mysteries. I have been since I was a kid, always trying to figure it out. Maybe I can figure it out. Gemini. But I just watched one. I'm going to try not to cry. I just watched one about Japan and about the tsunami and how people were seeing ghosts after the tsunami. And I have a particular affinity for the Japanese just because I really, 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 really have a lot of respect for their manners. It jives very well with my own beliefs. So there's a soft spot there. And they were talking about how after the tsunami in this little coastal town, people have been seeing ghosts since then, because there were so many people that died so quickly that they didn't know they were dead. And it turned into more of like a sociological conversation instead of a Unsolved Mysteries episode, because they're talking so much about how in Japanese spirituality, the film between the dead and the living is so thin, and that death is not the end, and that the dead and the living can see each other as if through a thin film, like the paper doors. So it's not at all abnormal for someone to say that they've seen a ghost. And the relationship that they showed developing and intertwining between the people who survived and the people who have died, who didn't know they were dead, and they were taking taxis trying to get home. They were showing up at people's doors, knocking on the door, asking for dry clothes. They're people showing up to monks and priests and saying, hey, I don't Why am I at the bottom of the ocean? I just want to go home. Where am I? And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, this is the most Scorpio thing I've ever seen. And the love with which they have turned their grief to connection, the way, the patience with which they have transformed what seemed like hell on earth when that water came in. They've turned it into a way to bond with each other and with the other side. It requires an openness and a bravery and a vulnerability that ties in really well with this reading. So I'm watching it, and of course I'm just sobbing. I mean, I'm just like full on, dry heaving, almost like sobbing, like I'm crying so hard. I couldn't. And right after I'm done watching it, and if you watch this tonight, you'll still see it on my Instagram. Right after I'm done watching it, in a closed house in the winter in Scandinavia, no windows are open, no doors are open, a monarch butterfly comes out of nowhere. I did a prayer. After I saw it, I just prayed to God. I was like, just for their peace, for their continued healing, And then there's this butterfly, and I'm just like, and it kept like flying right at me. I was like, wow, it's so aggressive. But it was just like life, And it was because then I tried to swat it away and it disappeared. And I swear I've been looking for it. If it shows up out of nowhere right now, I'm going to freak out. But I've looked everywhere and I can't find it, but it's gone. And again, there are no windows open. It was and butterflies are such an ephemeral thing anyway, right? It was such a powerful visual reminder that the curtain between the worlds is so thin, and that whenever you extend your heart out towards anyone in compassion, the universe receives and gives back to you. Remember that. Remember that when you feel like maybe you shouldn't say something. Remember that when you start to go back into the old way. No. Be brave. Be vulnerable. Say what you want. Speak from your heart. Say what you want. Say the things that you've been wanting to say to people. Forgive the people you've been wanting to forgive. Chastise the people you've been wanting to chastise. You've been holding off. But after November 13th, get on it. It will bring you love. Inshallah, it will bring you money. It will bring you deeper connection. And most importantly, that, for you guys, that episode is such an embodiment of your energy. The meeting of the human and the spirit. The meeting of the flesh and the spirit. The meeting of the living world and the world beyond in such a almost casual way, making it seem like it's not even that big a deal. And this applies Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Rising. If you're Scorpio Rising, it's going to imply even more because you're already maybe starting to say a lot and you're thinking, why am I saying so much? Why am I giving so much away? There's nothing to give away. All the cards are already on the table. You're not worried about saying what you need to. You're not concealing or holding anything back. You're not playing it close to the chest. Not anymore. Now it's just go time. You're feeling good. You're looking good. Nothing can stop you. Go ahead, finish it. You're all the way up. I love you. Let's take a look at these cards, huh? Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to the second part of your reading. Okay. I am so glad you're vibing with part one. If you're wondering, hey, I didn't see part one until just now. Part one is always available on Instagram at least a day before the entire video debuts on YouTube. If you didn't know, now you know. Oh, did I just mess this up?
That's okay. Here we go. Me just being a perfectionist, don't mind me. There we go. So, I will be drinking water throughout, and I suggest you do the same. Now, that first card is a curious one because when a Scorpio starts to plan and take their time is when things go particularly well. Generally, you do have a tendency to work off of impulse, even though you're very strategic. But the slowness is what I like. The slowness coupled with the Two of Wands, I like a lot because it means that what you're being so cautious and organized about is this departure into a new, more vulnerable, more risk-taking you. That's the Fool. That's the Two of Wands, taking you away from what you're used to, taking you away from what you perhaps have identified with, so much so that you thought, hey, that's just me. No, that's just a way of being. That's not you. And then we move to the Eight of Pentacles. A lot of work has gone into this. A lot of work. And there were a lot of scales that needed to be balanced. As you started to do this planning, as you start to feel more and more vulnerable, some things become obvious to you. Some places where you're like, hey, what is that? And why? And there's no need. And like, I get it that I can be scary, but I'm a human and I have a heart. Like, come on. Now, if you're dealing specifically, Mercury retrograde kicks my ass every time. I am double Mercury ruled, so it's just what it is. But what you're looking for now and what you're able to find is a justice, a reckoning, a very obvious karmic payback. And sometimes that payback doesn't, well, most of the time when it's truly delicious, that payback does not take the form of vengeance. No, no, no. They did what they did. And the revenge that the universe gives you is your happiness, your ability, 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands, to get into a very long-term, very meaningful, satisfying relationship begins as of the 13th. So hang on in there and stay in that Page of Pentacles energy. Keep up the slow, methodical planning. Keep with the plan. Don't let your emotions get in the way. Now, that may seem like I'm saying two different things. Well, what do you mean? You said to be vulnerable. You said to be open. Yes, yes. And as anyone who is open and vulnerable with their emotions will tell you, that actually takes you very far from having your emotions rule you. Actually, it gives you a lot of control over your emotions when you can articulate what you're feeling instead of having it just be this overwhelming feeling that you can't define, you can't talk about, you don't know how to make other people understand how you feel. You just know that you feel how you feel. Now you've got the words. And they're good words. They're smart, eloquent words. Right? They're Venusian. You are able to speak from such a deep and oftentimes painful place where you have been betrayed to the point where it almost becomes romantic because it gives you this air of like, I've been through it and I still believe in love and I'm here. And it's beautiful. And as soon as Mars goes direct, bam, there goes you on your horse running. And Jupiter is there to back you up, and Pluto is there to back you up, and Saturn is there to back you up. And how often does that happen anyway? And is it any surprise that that would naturally lead to your cup spilling over? All the abundance you could ever think of. All the abundance you could ever want. Now, what's that Hanged Man about? Well, it's you. It is your nature When you get things out and you say them how they are, and then you get what you want, you have a tendency to be like, well, I don't know if I want it because I had to say something to get it. Don't play that game. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get what you want and then dig your heels in and be stubborn again. Remember that I said this. Towards the end of November, what you're going to want to do is you're going to take all these blessings that you're loving, you're going to take all this intimacy that you're loving, you're going to take all these new love interests that you're loving, and you're going to try to put a stop to it. Please don't. Please don't get in your own way. Remember back to the beginning of this reading. Watch it as much as you need to. But I'm telling you, when you start to get in that hangman vibe, it's only because you're so overwhelmed by the depth of feeling and hope and everything else that it scares you. If there's anything that scares death, it's love. Because it's the only thing that defies you, right? That's okay. Love is supposed to be more powerful than you, Scorpio. Don't freak. Don't freak when it shows up. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. Don't freak when it shows up because it's going to be great. And the next few months, and inshallah, the next few years are shaping up to be so fruitful. And not just financially, because yeah, that'll come. But I mean your heart. After a long while, it's just healing. And you have to realize that every time you get this vulnerable stuff out, just pull one more sword out. More healing, more healing, more healing. The more you talk it out, the more you heal. And the more you heal, the more ready you are for that. Now, this happens to you. The love presents itself. You meet somebody. The huge opportunity comes to you. You can't believe it. When you start to have that instinct that I don't know why, maybe it was like that. Maybe I don't even trust these people. Maybe I don't know about this. That's when you say to yourself, I need to have some vulnerable conversations. That's when you say, hey, thank you for offering me this cup, but I've been burned a lot. I kind of don't know how to take this. That's a lot better than running away, and it's a lot better than throwing rocks in your own path. That sounds a lot better in Urdu than it does in English, but apne raaste mein patthar na phenko. Don't throw rocks in your own path. Walk your walk. Let the cup come to you. Let Mars give you the speed and energy that you've been looking for. Let that justice energy put your heart at rest, that nobody gets away with it, and move forward into happiness. Don't deny yourself that. Maybe there's some tiny part of you that thinks you don't deserve it. False. Everyone deserves love, Scorpio. Everyone. Even you, but especially you. The cool thing about being vulnerable and open is that you will feel more and more loved and more appreciated, because there are people on the outside to whom, whether you have tried or not, you are a complete mystery, not because you haven't tried to open up, but because you have not been vulnerable. But now it's different. Now it's beautiful. Now it's time for the good times. So, enjoy it. Embrace it. Receive it. All right? Okay. If you would like a personal reading sent to your inbox, there's a Cameo link. If you would like a one-on-one video chat reading, I think there's one slot available for October still. There is a Chatalyze link. In the extended reading, we will shuffle through and clarify each card, including the ones that stand for signs, and see what's going on with those signs and the other signs that come up in the deck. You can get that as an extended reading that goes straight to your inbox by clicking the instant link, or you can get them through Vimeo. Same reading, same price, but you log into Vimeo and that is your platform then, and it's there anytime you want to watch it. All right. If you are interested in the rings that I wear, the revolution rings, there's also a link to those below. And if you are into a daily horoscope, where we look at the chart for the day and see what transits are going on and how it affects your sign, there is an Instagram link below. Come join the fam. I love you. I'll see you in the extended right now.